It was 1976, and Jeremy was a 16-year-old kid visiting the kosher suites at MIT. So I was the one to give him the $10 tour of the dorm, and I never had a little brother, but he was very close. We lived together for years at MIT, and I didn't grow up with a Jewish education, but Jeremy gave me one. He was the one who first encouraged me to put on tefillin. He lent me a pair. He showed me how to lay in them. And I wished I didn't understand how he knew how to put on tefillin. He said, "Oh, my father taught me." I said, "Your father taught you? What do you mean?" I could never imagine such a thing. It was beyond me. So I always look forward to Mr. Barkan visiting. I sat in awe of Mr. Barkan. I said, "Wow, he did for his son." He was the one to carry the Sefer Torah to and from the Institute for the Minyan. And he told us that the Torah was given to us by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And I didn't believe it, but by the way he said it, by his demeanor and his love and devotion, he showed me that he really believed it. And in 4 years at MIT, he was the only one always learning Gemara in the commons area, in the public area, always had Kedusha. He was the one who was always learning Torah. And when I graduated, he would be walking around with tzitzis over his shirt, and my parents and my aunts and uncles came for graduation, and they were so impressed by Jeremy. So look at this frum guy, look. He turned them on to have more Yahadut, to my mother and my aunt to light Shabbos candles. He didn't say a word, he just walked around, Jeremy. So I was at Hadassah in Kerem doing a medical school rotation in 1982. And he was living at Har Tzofim doing organometallic chemistry. He introduced me around to his dorm mates and his chavre, and it was no different from the Institute. Everybody loved Jeremy. He was always the same, like everyone's big brother and little brother. And that summer I brought him over to Hadassah at Ein Kerem to show him around. Unfortunately, he spent too much time there. But he told me his first visit to Hadassah, to my laboratory. And I wanted to take him to lunch in the hospital cafeteria, and he wouldn't enter the hospital in spite of this interlocking door they had to permit Kohanim to enter. He's always concerned with Kedushat HaKanu. So years later, and I'm going to close now, when I showed my sons how to put on tefillin, I thought of Mr. Barkan teaching Jeremy. I thought of Jeremy showing me. We were just teenagers. And 4 years ago, my first son's bar mitzvah at the Kotel. And 2 years ago, my second son. Jeremy, of course, was the one to do Birkat Kohanim. Always Kedusha. Always the one people loved. Always with the Avat Yisrael.